Alright. We are jumping in. Currently down to 2 more, almost in 2 minutes, it will be 2 more hours. So yeah, noon will be the cutoff time. Holy crap. GAA 2, Chapter 1, right.
I hate the darkness.
Kevin!
No.
Cackling about. Kevin!
1-month streak!
That was your 11th month. Wait, I'm actually surprised, because I don't think you normally...
Reading.
Alright, well, 128. Thanks, Kev. I would never. That means we're 1 sub away from an hour extension. Oh. Sheesh. Alright. And then apparently if you stay live for 48 hours, Twitch, like, kicks you off. That seems like a nice, like, soft cap, doesn't it? Your Excellency, I respectfully ask you to postpone your adjudication for the time being. Oh? To what end, Counsel? The defense would like to present the court with an alternative theory. An alternative theory that can explain who the victim was actually trying to implicate with her dying gesture.
Objection!
An alternative theory? Ha! Nonsense!
Objection!
There was someone else present at the scene who could have committed this crime. What? And the victim, Miss Brett, tried to reveal who it was to those around her at the time by mustering all her remaining strength and pointing a trembling finger in the killer's direction. This is fiction. Fantasy. Very well. As you seem so sure of yourself, Counsel, I am prepared to hear your alternative theory. So, young Ryutaro Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. You will present your latest theory in the court by means of this plan. At the moment the victim was stabbed, where exactly are you proposing the culprit was concealed? Oh. Hey, Cortex. Good morning. I got so much sleep. And I feel amazing. We're doing some Ace Attorney to round out the subathon, and I am having my morning coffee, and I am so happy. Okay. So, my understanding was that they were in the reeds. But what if they were, like, in here? There's been no evidence that's proven that they could be in this area. She pointed this way. If I'm wrong, that's pretty bad.
Take that!
The true culprit was in this area here. There, Counsel. That's right, Your Excellency. I believe the culprit was hiding in the location I've indicated. Why? Oh, well, that's rather hard to say. Oh. Wouldn't he still be outside? So we have to redo it. Retry from this scene. This will be a little refresher too, so... Oh, it literally starts from right here. That's amazing. Was he hiding behind this?
Take that!
Consider where the victim was in the moment leading up to her death. I thought that he stabbed her from through the reeds. At the moment the victim was stabbed. Is it the table?
Take that!
No, I keep guessing wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe it's like I said, he's in the reeds. Huh. She's on the suitcase.
Take that!
Maybe I need to look at the evidence again. God damn it. So... wasn't it literally that he's just right here and stabbed her because she was sitting on this little cushion? Hi, Tux. It is live. I got a wonderful amount of sleep. Did you see? Did I see what? Hi, Diamond. You got ML Bologna. So no raison d'etre? Maybe a different raison d'etre. Fakey Tong! No. No, 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 no. This is the real one. This is live Tong. She finally showed up in the headhunt. I don't believe it! Well, good. I'm glad. I got a ton of sleep, and I feel much better this morning. We've got our remaining 2 hours of the stream, so we're just kind of vibing and doing our victory lap with some Ace Attorney. But yeah, she stood up, got stabbed, and fell down. Hey, Booty. Yeah, we're still going. We are going until 47 hours, so we have just under 2 hours left. There have been 2 full sleep sessions on this stream. Honestly, 2-day stream, kind of impressive. What a successful subathon. I mean, yeah, I would be inclined to say so. Yeah, we did it. I was dying yesterday, but we did it. Also, my whole... You know what? My body felt out of whack yesterday, but I got so much sleep that I think we've, like, realigned, and now I feel okay. Hopefully it stays that way. Yeah, didn't die. Played lots of video games. 128 subscriptions in 2 days is wild. So, really, really, really grateful and impressed. So wait, Cortex, you said I'm technically right, but I didn't point to it. So am I supposed to... Like, right here? Is that where it wants me to point? Because I pointed here. I pointed here, here, here. Yeah, that's the scary thing. If we get one more sub, there will be 1 more hour added. So do I just point here? Is that good enough?
Take that!
No, this is the failed dialogue. Whack! Oh, Booty, you devil! Kitty got claws, Thomas Sachs, Chow, Map, and Yannick V. Oh my goodness, thank you for the 5 gift subs, Booty. Just aim it solely to the left of the tent. Behind the chair. I think I did that first, though, and it still didn't work. Hold on, wait, I gotta do math. So wait, 2 more hours. What does that put me at? Oh. Welcome to the stream, Kitty Got Claws. Good morning, King. We just got 5 more subs, so wait, now we're at... Four plus 5, 49 hours, so 1 hour past when Twitch is gonna boot us. When did I start using a face cam? I've always used one. Alright, 133.
Convert this to subs. I don't like buying subs unless someone wants one.
Storm. Oh my good. Wait a minute. 50. Oh jeez. Thank you very much for the $50, Storm. So wait, each sub is $5, so do we up it by 10? Oh my goodness. So wait, that pushes it to... Okay. Well, thank you for the generosity, Storm, and Booty, and Kevin earlier. That is 2 tier 3s. It is not. A tier 3 is, I think, 15. Kitty, I'm trying to think of a time when I've streamed without a face cam, and I really can't think of one. Like, I always have my player cam. Unless if you only show up during bathroom breaks when I turn my camera off to get up. Okay, so wait, how many hours is that? A tier 3 is 25? Seriously? Why? Why? They must have made it more expensive. Oh, yeah, you looked?
Yeah.
So, Booty just gifted 5 and Storm just gifted 10. So... that puts us at what?
Please.
4...
It would take so much more.
40... Why am I not able to math this? $54 hours. Is that with the bonus 5? Yeah, yes, because we were at 49. Okay, perfect. Thank you, King. Yeah, I'm just like, divide by 3, right? So... if they did 15 subs, that's 5 more hours. Yeah. True. I've been good with the math up until right now, and now I think I just haven't finished my coffee, and I'm like, can't do anything. Not been watching streams, a bit moved in life. Oh, fair enough. Wowee. Well, thank you, everybody. Everybody's so nice. Quick math! We just have to divide it by 3. Right? 14, 4, 2 left, 23 divided by 3, 7. Right? Yeah. 47 plus 5, 52. A homeless person scared you at the gas station? What do they do? Did they go, ah! Really? Oh, that's actually scary if a homeless person did that. I'd be like, oh, are you gonna hurt me? Are you on drugs? I get paid to just make shit look pretty. Math isn't needed for home beauty. True. Well, maybe. I feel like math could play a part. Maybe, like, a small part. Or maybe I'm, like, overthinking what you do. But what if you looked at a room and you, like, measured something, and then you had to decide how many objects of a specific size would fit in that space, right?
How many beautiful people can fit in?
That's why I have assistants. They math. Well, fair. Zero plus 0. So we all do math is what Tux is really getting at here. We're all mathematiques. Mathematicurandus. Mathematician. Yes, thank you. That's what I was trying to say.
We're all gay.
Yay. Hi, Kay. Alright, so the game's yelling at me about not pointing a specific spot. I feel like using things like the golden ratio for decor is a definite math. Yeah. Yeah, with what... like... Oh my god, I can't talk. I'm with an M. Hi, with an M. Welcome to our subathon.
You need more coffee.
Yes.
No more over here.
Wowie bleh bleh. So wait, if I'm going... Right, the quick math is telling me we divide 143 by 3, and then we add 5. So that gives us 47. And then we add 5, so 52-hour stream. 52 hours is 4 hours past 48, which is when we're going to get kicked off by Twitch.
Right.
Right, so then we have to do another 4-hour stream today. Maybe we do Kevin Emblem on stream for part of the subathon.
No! Don't bring me into this!
Kevin's home today, I'm totally roping him into this.
I'll need a 50% royalty.
Kevin's in it. Really, we fucked up by not streaming the last chapter of it because that one was entertaining. Just saying, Kevin.
Thing to do.
Like to play Fire Emblem on Twitch, yes.
Take that!
Okay, we finally got it. Yes.
You did this now.
You actually did this to me.
I'm just
My Bologna is Scuffdogna. Scuffolgna.
everybody.
Show me. Wait, you probably already posted it in Discord, didn't you? Did we win Guild Wars? Oh.
Lost for like.
What the hell is this? I'm Layla, the new member of the Miracle Maid Kingdom.
Yeah. The one with the guitar. I'm excited. That's normal. Except her. In your life. It honestly doesn't look bad for me.
The Miracle Maid Kingdom is the cafe Maid Chloe owns. Muse Rima is also there or something. Fucking hell. That is terrible news.
Valentine's Day. Maid Cafe.
Tux, post it in general. Post it up. I want to see it. Not general, Epic 7, I mean. Naruhodo-san would never give up, and I'm a Naruhodo now. She's not. The true culprit who fatally stabbed Miss Brett was concealed in this location here. Are you mad, Council? You're suggesting the culprit was outside the hut? What? It's been done, but not in general. Destruction is definitely a less useful set. Well, honestly, this is fine. This is fine. You have Sacred Scythe, it's fine. It's the HP is low, yeah. The HP is low and the defense is like... Immunity is kind of a choice, but it's not a bad choice. That'll protect you from Senyas that are fast. If your mediator can't cleanse her, or if she gets stripped. So yeah, I think, I don't think speed is ever really an important thing for her. Because she CR pushes when she does her counter. You can actually afford to have a slower ML Bologna, just as long as she's very tanky if she is. I don't see why it would be any more important than her being on any other set, to be honest. Like Lifesteal. You want counter pen? Yeah, that's ideal. I think Immunity is a very good 2-piece set for her, though. She can get her counter off more faster if she's on counter, but on Duster she doesn't have that. I mean, I'm just saying, I have like a 180 speed on Lifesteal, and I have had that since forever. And she works pretty darn good. Order, order, order. Student lawyer Naruhodo-san is Squire. That makes no sense at all. You've just pointed out the exact spot where I was hiding to get my scoop snap. But I didn't see any suspicious individuals loitering about, I can swear to that. Obviously, if the culprit had been outside the hut, there is no way that he or she could have stabbed the victim who was inside the hut. Actually, Prosecutor Ouchie, there is a way. And, in point of fact, the defense can provide evidence strongly suggesting that is precisely the way Miss Brett was killed. You're bluffing. You're bluffing, you yokel. Oh, I forgot about them calling each other yokel. For Arena Offense, I think it'll be whatever, yeah. And Guild Wars too. She'll work in Guild Wars for sure. Just try to, like, slowly upgrade her HP and defense. But the otherwise looks fine. Looks a-okay, Texapanini. I have not been a good E7er the last couple days. You know, because, like, subathon. I don't even know if I did my dailies yesterday. You'll switch sets entirely by 2026, and that's a good goal point, yeah. Did we win Guild Wars? We didn't. Gucci Cat was the MVP. This is an extremely pivotal moment in the trial. Because we're finally just gonna say that Many Memo did it. Okay, the defense's assertion is clearly too fantastical for the court to comprehend. You will need to give us more guidance, counsel. What piece of evidence corroborates your theory that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut? Oh boy. You know, that's actually a good question, especially considering I have basically none of my little things left. Play ironic. So that would mean it's either the pen or the Or the knife.
Take that!
Ah, it wasn't the knife. Yeah, okay. Oh, Lord. Guilty! It was you! Okay. Post-mortem reports. Is there any detail in here? Why? I still don't know why she has the pen. How sleepy are we? We're doing pretty good, Quinn. In the final leg of the subathon, we received a bit more, so we are currently at 52 hours total duration. And we are Ace Attorney-ing for a bit. And Kevin seems to be making breakfast burritos. So really, we're doing great. Yeah, we've got a wonderful amount of subs. Which piece of evidence corroborates your theory that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut? And it's not the knife. I was just checking to see how alive you were. Back to the salt mines for you. Alright, Quinn. Catch you later. Thanks for checking on me. It wouldn't be this, would it? Because you can see that she was attacked. But I guess they would counter that with, well, in the story, they had a fight and then Ray stabbed her. Yeah, the footprints, the problem with the footprints is I'm not able to, I'm not able to present those as evidence. It would have to be the whole photograph, but I don't know if that's, like, incriminating enough. This does, yeah, because there's no footprints over here. At least, yeah, that's spilled wine. And then there's only footprints here. So yeah, let's try presenting this.
Take that!
The original photographic print of the crime scene? Yes, it's clearly visible in this print. The trace of the fatal thrust that was delivered from outside the beach hut.
Attention!
Do you take us for fools? There's no hint of any such thing. I'm not sure that everyone present would agree. Someone, at least, appears to have noticed what it is that I'm referring to. Counsel, once again, I must call on you to be explicit for the court. Where on this photograph is the trace of the stabbing, of which you can claim took place from outside the hut? Oh boy. So I could point to the opening in the reeds, which is directly behind where she was sitting. That seems logical. I feel like pointing to the footprints wouldn't make a lot of sense, because it's more so that there are no footprints back here. At least it's a little bit ambiguous looking at the evidence. The bottle of wine getting knocked over too could have something to do with it. Like, she knocked it over because she stood up and fell down. Let's try this.
Take that!
Look closely just here. In the screen at the back of the hut, you can see the effects of a blade having been forced through the reeds. Is that what that is? No, I can't. Yeah, I think what you have to do with this game is, like, not think too much outside the box, because if you do, you start convincing yourself, like, of things that the game hasn't talked about. That's what I was doing during the other scene. I'm like, well, what if he was hiding here and the game is waiting till this scene to reveal that so that now they can talk about it? But no, you just have to talk about whatever it is that's been mentioned by the dialogue, which makes sense for a game like this. It's a deduction game. I have a big tendency to go off the rails. You know what it is, Cortex? Danganronpa has taught me that off the rails is the right path. Hey, kiddo. It's true that the hut in question had 4 walls, as you'd expect. However, by parting the reeds, a knife blade could easily penetrate them. This is extraordinary! Yes. The true culprit actually stabbed the victim from outside the beach hut. Oh, was he in on it? And of everyone present at the scene, there's only one person who could have done that. Only one person who was directly outside the hut when Miss Brett was killed. Raiten Memo-san. Many Memo-san, even. It could only have been you. No!
Attention!
This preposterous idea leaves me almost speechless. Just look at the photograph again. The victim lies almost exactly in the center of the beach hut, does she not? Are we to assume, as part of this farcical scenario, that the assailant was a knife thrower?
Attention!
No, of course not. We're not? If you recall the testimony of the defendant about the events just before the victim's death. Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. But she just sat on a stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as if she knew she was untouchable. A stool? Have another look at the photograph. The slit in the read screen would align perfectly with the back of a person who was sitting on that stool. My word! So, in fact, the victim was killed while sitting on the stool by a stab wound to her back delivered through the read screen. Ah! Having been attacked, Miss Brett rose to her feet instinctively, but then, unable to speak, she collapsed on the floor in the middle of the hut. Before the defendant, Membami-san's appalled eyes. And that, Your Excellency, is the truth of what happened on the beach that day. By your silence, Memo-san, I take it that you don't deny the charge. This is absurd! That will do.
That is the truth.
It would appear that we have a tacit admission of guilt from the witness. Accordingly, this court has successfully established the truth of this matter, which means that the defendant, Membami-san, is innocent of the crime. Oh, thank goodness. I finally made him cave. Must say, I've never been more proud. No, this can't be. The Ouchi clan can't. What of my growth? My growth of hope? It wasn't all an apparition. I can't accept this. I won't. I see no reason for the continuance of this trial. I will therefore move to conclude proceedings by delivering my... Any memo? Well, this is all very convenient. This is how the highest court in our mighty empire delivers justice, is it? Suppressing well-meaning citizens' freedom to speak and branding them as criminals. But we've established what the victim was stabbed from... Oh, that the victim was stabbed from the outside the hut, through the read screen walls. And no one but you was in the place at the time to have his hand on the hilt of the blade. It's a perfectly logical deduction. So, your argument hinges on the location of whoever stabbed the Englishwoman, does it? Well, it seems a little irrelevant now. Irrelevant? Where she was stabbed, how she was stabbed, it doesn't matter. I mean, whether she was stabbed at all makes no difference if you think about it. Ah. So now we're gonna talk about the poison pen. After all, this trial's already shown the whole thing hinges on something else. What? What are you talking about? Brace yourself, little man. I'm talking about the fact that everything's changed. Because of the dirt you dug up. What? Enough obscurity. Explain yourself, witness. What's to explain? I'm talking about the poison, of course. The poison? Let's ask the professor for a comment on the situation, shall we? I understand that a deadly poison you were developing was stolen from your laboratory, correct? And it's been shown that this poison was administered to the victim, Miss Brett. Is that right? That is correct. The unusual constriction of the victim's pupils are a sure sign that this particular poison was used. I see. So, presumably that means that the victim already had the poison in her body before she was stabbed. Yeah, that's interesting, actually. Unless if the poison is a red herring. So maybe she was already drinking the poison, but why does she have the pen? You know what's actually really weird? They intentionally made it so you can't see her hand in this picture. So you can't tell if she has the pen or not. I bet you she doesn't, and it's gonna come down to, Ray testifying that there's no pen in her hand when she removed the blade, and that What's-His-Face snuck the pen into her hand. Oh, or maybe the poet guy put it in her hand when he went down to listen to her. So he's an accomplice. I bet you that's what happened. Ah! Given that her pupils were clearly constricted, it seems highly likely, yes. If she had been dead already, the poison could not have circulated in her blood. Oh. Okay, well that's... Okay, maybe I'm wrong. How refreshing to hear the argument of a metropolitan mind. Precisely. It matters not a jot who stabbed whom in whose back with whose blade. Because, quite simply, the Englishwoman's life was taken not by the knife, but by the poison.
Objection!
But that can be explained by the poison being on the blade, as I already...
Objection!
Ta-ha-ha! Forgotten already, have we, yokel? During these very proceedings, the laboratory of the professor at your side assisted in proving that the blade of the weapon used to attack the victim had no trace of poison on it whatsoever. Ugh. So let me get this down. The facts, as skillfully established by the defense in this trial, turn out to be a headline-making red herring. Is that about right? Well... Order, order, order. But where does this leave us? How, in that case, did the poison enter the victim's body? There is an undeniably obvious answer to that. The lady most likely imbibed it. You mean she drank it? Have another look at the photograph here, as you can see. A bottle of carbonated water and a glass had been knocked onto the sandy floor of the beach hut. Ah yes, red carbonated water. The poison could have been slipped into either. So somebody made Miss Brett drink it. Well, what do you know? Look at those dashing eyes. This will make a great front page shot. Hey, why the bewitching stare? After all, I'm the last person you should be looking at. It would make no sense at all that I poisoned the woman, would it? I mean, that's been established already.
Hold it!
Established? What are you talking about? Don't tell me you've forgotten. That's a little hard to believe, given that the person who established it was you. Me? What on earth does he mean? Oh, let me capture those wide eyes. This is prime press fodder, this is. Yeah, Tom. Hi, again. The current stream goal time is 52 hours. We're holding up good. I got a ton of sleep last night, so I actually feel good. What was the last break? I slept from about 2 a.m. until 9:45. So, a lot of sleep and a lot of TMS spots. Oh, but yeah, I feel so much better. We're gonna do Ace Attorney for a bit, and then after it's done, I'm gonna go and take probably a shower, and then come back, and I don't know what we're gonna play after that. It would seem that this trial is not destined to end yet, after all. What will be the finale? I thought Great Ace Attorney was gonna be the finale, and then we got a Kevin sub, 5 booty subs, 10 storm subs. And Cortex! Oh my god, how could I forget? Sorry, Cortex. The gays, these gays. They're trying to never let me stop streaming. Hello, Blackbird. That was kind of a good Jennifer Coolidge, if I can say so myself. I don't know why I saw on Twitter, for whatever reason, the mustachioed guy who was in season 1 of White Lotus was like, pictures of him were making rounds. Like when he was younger, and I was like, oh my goodness! Honestly, I was surprised it was kind of spot on. Thank you, thank you. You can catch me live daily, all day daily at twitch.tv/LordBigTongue. Somebody did Jennifer Coolidge on Snatch Game, and they're just never funny, right? You know me with Drag Race, recalling exactly what happens in any given season is kind of hit or miss. Yeah, I feel like somebody was Jennifer Coolidge in the last Snatch Game that we watched. I couldn't tell you what season or what country it was. Maybe Canada? I remember on one of the US seasons, one of the queens did Val Garland, and they royally did not do her justice. To the point where when they finally said ding dong, Rue was just like, you were really saving that one, weren't you? Disgusting. It was Rolls Dice, Afghanistan versus the World Season 4. Yeah, something like that. Can you imagine? It would seem this trial is not destined to end yet after all. I hereby call upon the witness to give further testimony. That's great, that is. Let me get a shot of that magnificent beard, Your Excellency. You claim it will be impossible that you were the one responsible for administering the poison to the victim. You will explain to the court in your testimony the basis upon which you make such a claim. I'm a journo, and I'm a man. I've never tried to run or hide from anything in my life. And I'm not about to start now, because that's mini-memoism. For a brief moment, I thought I'd illuminated the truth, but it slipped right back into obscurity again. Just where is this trial going to take us? We look different. Yeah, so, for the chapter 1 of this game, it's a trial taking place in Japan, and Susato is in Japan because she had to go back because of her sick father. Naruhodo, as far as we know, is in Britain still. So Susato, in order to act as the defendant's attorney, which her defendant is her best friend, Rei Membami. Think about that one for a second. She has to pretend to be a man because women can't be attorneys in Japan. And yeah, we've overwritten Susato's voice with something that I can do normally without straining my vocal cords. And interestingly enough, the victim of this case, I don't know if you remember the first case from Great Ace Attorney 1. This was the culprit from Great Ace Attorney 1, and she is now dead. So, kind of a gag. I like that it's, involved with things that happened in the first game. I know, her poor swan. Because remember, that swan was alive in Great Ace Attorney 1. It was, like, flap on top of her head. Give me a quick second, guys. I am gonna go and refill my coffee real quick, so I will be right back.
What is this?
Oh hi, yes, I'm here. I got a coffee refill and a breakfast burrito. A la Kevin. Very excited. Hi Prophet, hi Ifrit, welcome guys. Listen, the subathon has been extended again. Where's mine, Kevin? And Kittle also asking, oh my god, all the cats coming alive. We are doing great today, Prophet. I got a lot of sleep last night. We slept, I think, 7.5 hours, and the sleep was so much better than the night before. I think I was having some, like, blood sugar issues on Sunday night's rest, so that kind of interferes with sleep and can make it hard. But I resolved that yesterday, and then slept like a baby last night. Although I did wake up a few times just to check on the stream, because for whatever reason, when I share our VODs playing in a row, when it switches episode, sometimes it freezes on the new episode. Even though there's audio playing, it just freezes the picture, so I have to, like, come and refresh it. So, yeah, we are currently at a 52-hour... That's technology for you? Real talk. Gotta restart stream in 2 hours. Yes, hi story time. Yeah, we will be restarting stream, when we hit the 48-hour mark, because does Twitch kick us off, or does it stop recording VOD? I see we're playing Peak today. We are. We are finishing the trial in Great Ace Attorney Chronicles 2. We'll probably get a little ways into the start of Chapter 2, and then I'm not sure what we're going to play after. I will need to take a break to, like, clean myself, and yeah. Twitch will just end the stream. Oh, damn.
What are you waiting for?
Fiddle, you're such a demanding cat.
What's the patient kitty? And
So this is Ace Attorney? Yes. I'll be lurking here. I've got an earbud under my headphones. Oh my god. Storytime, you are a master. Don't let your ears swallow it up. Anyway. Yeah, I was thinking, because we have a bit more of a stream to do today. We might, if Kevin's willing, we might do a little bit of Kevin Emblem. We'll see.
no.
Don't listen to him. He's excited. And other than that, maybe more Undernight, maybe more Pokemon Stadium. I was under the impression it was more of a courtroom thing and not a detective thing. Oh yeah, it's definitely both. The courtroom aspect is fine, but I think the detective parts are what make this game really cool. the GAA2 court sequences are so much better than GAA1 and the investigations. So, to catch you up, I was pretty sure the trial was about to end because we finally said, like, hey, it was Many Memo, obviously, stabbing her from outside. And then he's like, but the poison! So now we have to discuss why the poison, or how the poison was used. It can't be a red herring since apparently it circulated her blood. And how she got the pen. My current theory is that the poet guy, I always forget his name, the guy that wrote I Am a Cat, put the pen in her hand, which would make him an accomplice. I don't know how she got the poison in her sparkling water, but I suppose that's what this part of the trial is going to explain to us. Okay. Oh yes, I stabbed the Englishwoman. And it's that very fact that proves I'm innocent. Because why would I have bothered to stab the woman if I'd already poisoned her? So, can you still be arrested for attempted murder? Because, like, he wanted her dead. Yep, everything's just, in a fixed route. Right? Like, hey, I did stab her, but that means it wasn't me. But I heard the student girl and that pompous English murderer arguing, it got my goat. If the courts weren't going to punish Brett for what she did, someone else would have to see justice done. So you admit it then? That everything happened as I described? That you were the one who stabbed Miss Brett in the back through the read screen? You can blame this miserable country of ours. Country that bows to the pressure of foreign powers and lets murderers walk free. That kind of future? What kind of future can a country like that have? That's why I did it. I did what our pathetic leaders didn't have the guts to do. Slap bang in the middle of that charming lady's back. I plunged the blade of sweet justice right in there. As someone who spends his life seeing that the truth is told, I feel really, really awful about giving false information in my testimony before. But as it turns out, there was somebody else who had it in for the victim and got to her before me. That's right, you guessed it. That pretty little student girl. Now there's a woman after my own heart. You're implicating Ray again. She's the one who gave the poison to the Englishwoman and ended her pitiful existence. If that's the case, he would have mentioned that when he first showed up. And suddenly, snap, the journo here is off the hook. The argument is sound, certainly no it is not. If the witness had administered the poison himself, he need only have waited for it to take effect. Subsequently stabbing the victim in the back would have been entirely nonsensical. And therefore, this reporter had nothing to do with the poisoning. Yes, it's all quite logical. That's right, it is. Logical and true. I'm glad you've seen the light. Justice at last. This is unbelievable. And after I'd made so much progress in proving his guilt, is he going to get away with it now? I'm glad you're liking it, Prophet. Think of Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san. They never stopped looking for a way forward until the judge's final gavel. Very well then, counsel. Proceed with what I assume to be your final cross-examination in this trial. Yes, Your Excellency. Alright, time to press everything. Oh yes, I stabbed the Englishwoman, and it's that very fact that proves I'm innocent.
Hold it!
So, you admit that you had murderous intentions towards Miss Brett, then? Ha! The woman's very existence offended my sense of justice. Your sense of, he's claiming some sort of righteous indignation? She was pure evil, a cold-blooded killer who committed murder right here on our empire's soil. But did our good-for-nothing government do anything? Not a chance, so I had to step in. Fly the flag of justice. Put things right for the people. Yes, it was my civic duty. That's what drove me to do it. So in summary, murderous intentions then. Whatever you want to call it, point is this. That Englishwoman was a blight. So I had to do what was right. For society. Yet a real wrong was done by the student girl in the dock. A crime for which she must pay. Obviously, because the poisoning has nothing to do with me at all. Wrong! Because why would I have bothered to stab the woman if I'd already poisoned her?
Hold it!
So you still maintain that you didn't give the poison to the victim. Obviously, that'd be like putting a belt on your trousers when you were already wearing bracelets like these. The accuseds administered the poison, following which this witness stabbed the victim. An unforgivable act, certainly, but not one of murder. That crime rests on the accused's shoulders. I mean, didn't it say she died from a collapsed lung from a pierce from a blade? That sounds like the cause of death to me. I don't know about y'all. Also being like, well, you tried to kill her, but it happened to be somebody else, so I guess you're free. That doesn't really sound legitimate, but... My gamer sense is telling me that this is just gonna be that he's trying to deflect onto Ray again, and we're just gonna find evidence against it, and it was just, everything was him. But I don't know why you would poison and stab somebody. And where does the poet play into this? Don't they do a post-mortem exam, or do those not exist in this universe? So, it's actually limited by the technology and, like, the medicine that's available to them, Prophet, because this game is set in 1900. And also, I can show you. So, you get the post-mortem report, which is this. So it says the victim's name, she was female, British, time of death. They did do an autopsy, but the problem is that they say she died of piercing to her lung. But in the notes, extreme meiosis, the pupil constriction, blah, blah, blah. That's a result of a poison that was being developed in a lab that isn't really, like, public. So the people doing the autopsy don't really have the means to test it. They had to bring in people from that lab to verify if the knife was, like, doused in poison or something like that. They did bring in the lab, though, and they tested it, and they said that the knife did not have poison. So the only way that the poison was administered to her was that it was put in the barrel of this pen. And then she probably drank it. The main mystery that we need to figure out is why is she holding the pen in her... Like, why does her corpse have the pen in her hand? Somebody has to have put it there after she died. That is how the law works, you see, yokel. Who knows? You may even learn something here today. 2 consecutive attempts on her life in the space of minutes. Quite a day for the victim. Because if you see, he has the pen ink on his hand, which means he's the one that drained the pen and filled it with something else. Might have to add it to your list. Yeah, the first game was a little bit of a slog, I have to say. I enjoy some of the characters in the first game. But the game was a little slow-paced, and it does tend to have, like, goofier characters that kind of bounce off of each other each trial. So if the game's already taking kind of a long time and you're, like, reading it aloud, it got a little exhausting. But, I've heard really good things about this one. This is the second game. They come in a pack together. And actually, Prophet, if you're interested in the series, they just came out with... Is it a duology or a trilogy? The ones with, the trilogy? The ones... What's his name? Apollo Justice. Steven's favorite guy. It's really nice of them to have, you know, me character on the cover of this one. So this is my game. And then Steven is on the cover of the next game. It's kind of iconic. Yeah, so that one just came out, like, last week. Did they bring, because the first 3 Phoenix Wright games, right? So there's the first 3 with Phoenix Wright, these 2 with Ryunosuke Naruhodo, and then 3 Apollo Justice games. Are there any games after that? Really? Wow. As someone that really didn't follow the Ace Attorney series ever, I'm kind of surprised that Phoenix Wright is only in the first 3. Yeah, so the Phoenix Wright ones were the first ones made Prophet, but, they are not... They are connected to the other games, but I wouldn't say you have to play any part of the series before another. I say that as I play the second in the series first. No further questions. No, just kidding. I'm just not the most qualified to answer. Hi, David. Yeah, we're still going. So currently we are at 52 hours for the subathon. What if I put a counter? That way I'm not having to math every time. What if I just do this? Oh, hold on. I'll fix the size in a second. So if I do that, right around the Lord Pingtong. Current sub points 143. Current stream duration 52. That got cut off. Since Phoenix Wright's name is the Japanese version, is actually Naruhodo. Really? I knew that. I knew that. Oh, you just noticed I'm up to 143? Yeah. This, when we started today, we had Kevin, Vortex, they both subscribed. And then Booty gifted 5, and Kevin, Storm gifted 10. Right, because Naruhodo is Phoenix Wright's ancestor. Yeah? Which is weird, because he's gay, but we don't have to talk about that. Do something that evil, and you've got it coming. That's how law works. The law of reckoning. That's not the kind of law this court upholds. You will reiterate why you were compelled to stab the victim, then, witness. When I heard the student girl and that pompous English murderer arguing, it got my goat.
Hold it!
What exactly were they arguing about? About what happened in the restaurant 9 months ago, that's what. Student girl was laying into the English woman for killing her beloved mentor, Dr. Wilson. Yes, John H. Wilson, a professor of medicine invited here from England by Professor Mikutoba, no less. Right, but the English woman just jeered. Her case was to be heard by the British Consular Court in Shanghai. However, there's little doubt that she would simply have been acquitted and sent back to her homeland a free woman. It was eating the student girl up inside. You could see it. I really felt for her. Oh? I can't stand here and listen to this tripe. Ray! Young girl, you stand accused here. You can't just blurt out whenever you feel like it. No, you can't. Sorry, but I'm in the middle of some very important testimony here. Just keep quiet and listen. But this awful man is making all this up. Susato, please. You have to make them listen. Return to the dock at once, Membami-san. We are in the middle of a cross-examination. Your Excellency, please, I implore you. That journalist is clearly not a trustworthy witness. Exactly! He's a filthy, rotten, black-hearted, bigoted, dirty peeping Tom. What? Whoa, take it easy there. Please, I really think the court should hear what the defendant has to say. Not a peeping adept, Tom. Tom, do you care to clear your name? You've been implicated in this. This is...
We're on commission.
I David
For
just
Subathon
cheered
recovery.
1,000 bits for Subathon recovery.
Thanks, David. Thank you so much for the 1,000 bits. That's very nice. I appreciate that. It will be rest and recovery. However, under the current amount of time, it's looking like my stream will end almost around 6 p.m. PST, so we'll see. I might have to buy something nice for Kevin for putting up with me streaming nonstop for the past 3 days. Hydrating. Oh, I'm like almost out of water, so I'll get more water in a second.
Just want to
Kevin.
follow him.
No, that is too... Please, I really think the court should hear what the defendant has to say. Your Excellency, I see no need whatsoever to entertain the accused's remarks. Yeah, you know, story time? I wasn't gonna say this till later, but I saw Kevin winning last night. In ranked matches. His win rate is at like 6%, but he's climbing. Oh no, Tom! I didn't make the schedule because we were streaming all day yesterday. This just got awkward. I haven't gotten shamed by my own schedule command in like a year. your win rate is falling as you get farmed by good players. My win rate is pretty good with both of my characters, but I got spanked a few times when we played on Sunday. I ran into a good Kaguya. I ran into Mario. I ran into my friend who plays Mika. I ran into a really good Hyde. It's funny, the way Mario plays, I feel like he's mad at you. Like, he plays like he's angry at you. How much longer do we have? We are going 52 hours currently, so we are at 46 and a third. Got 5.5 more hours. Yeah. Because he's a Wagner player. I'm so tempted to get it and force myself to learn a fighting game. Just remember, Prophet, any competitive game, just go in with an open mindset. And expect to get your butt beat. I'm talking like Epic 7 RTA beatdown style. The same is true of E7, though. If you just play it a lot, eventually you get better at it, and then you start winning. It really is, as they say, practice makes perfect. Who do you guys think Ouchie would play in Under Night? Batista. Merkava maybe, but I'm saying he's giving me Batista vibes. Like, never block Batista vibes. He's a conservative old man and he would never play women. So conservative old men play voids? I see no argument here. Recurring void effect, divide. Yeah, it really is all mindset, Prophet. Coming from someone who's done competitive games for over a decade, I've been to dark places in my own head, and I can promise you the best way to improve is to just hold your losses and look at them as learning experiences. Pengy, how much for you to cosplay the guy on screen? Cosplaying him wouldn't be that hard, but I would have to cut my hair like that, and that's not happening. Unless if I got a bald cap. It's a grind and a lot of it is mental, yes. I think really any competitive hobby is mental. Like, you just have to come to terms that, like, you aren't gonna win 100% of the time, and you have to just look at your losses objectively and be like, okay, what could I have done to stop that next time? Yeah, I think the main thing is, like, if you are not, like, consistently not succeeding, you can't get in your own head and be like, you can't hate what you're playing as a result. You have to, like, internalize it and be like, okay, this is on me. But then that's also really hard because it's like, how do I get better? And knowing the steps to take in order to make that happen can be hard. And it also requires you to call yourself buns a lot and then not get depressed about it or, like, lose motivation. Fighting games are actually just fast-paced problem-solving simulators. Yeah, they really are. And I don't know why I like the genre, because I feel like I am not a fast problem solver, but I must be to some degree. You guys seem to like Ouchie a lot, so I'm gonna, like, leave it on this screen while I put my plates away and get some more water. wash these plates. They have like nothing. Those were pretty fantastic burritos.
I learned it from my mom.
Daigo's 39, so anything's possible. Yeah. Well, maybe you have some ideas that can help Kevin, too. Story time. Because I feel like first I'm letting Kevin learn his character, and then I'll, like, go over the grid metagame, but I haven't even really gotten there yet. Story time's just gonna be in the corner worrying about drive impact. I'm glad we dropped SF6. That was a stressful as fuck game. Trying to learn what to do in so many different situations is hard when I have a hard time learning combos or specific moves. Yeah, fighting games, you have to like know all of the attacks by all of the characters in the game when you learn one. I would say learning a fighting game is actually, in some ways, easier than learning Epic 7. Epic 7 has, like, 300 characters. And needing to know what they all do is a lot. Fighting games, there's a lot more that comprises one character, but, like, numerically, there isn't as much. To feel comfortable with who you're playing, you can focus more on who you play against. Yeah. Your Excellency, I see no need to whatsoever to entertain the accused's remarks. What is the easiest way to get started learning a character? I would recommend the game's mission modes. So usually most fighting games have like combo tutorials that will teach you how to do certain things off of any starting hit, since usually your combo will depend on what the like initial starting hit is. The game, I would recommend mission mode and then going to training mode and see what you like remember from mission mode, and then going back to mission mode once you feel like you start to have things down. But it's gonna be a lot of training mode. First, learn your own character. Then learn the system. Then learn what the other characters are doing. I've been told on a few occasions to learn all the frame data. Wait a minute. Does Kuroi have a fighting game era that I didn't know about? Also, hi Kuroi. Happy Tuesday. I should still be saying Happy Sunday because it still feels like a Sunday to me. Then learn how to lag switch. Dammy, you are evil. Unplug the Ethernet cable. Or yell to your family member to jiggle it. I will grant the request of the defense. You got into fighting herds for a while? Oh my. I heard fighting herds is actually a very good fighting game. I just can't really get past the horse's aesthetic. At E tier. You're gonna pull the trigger and try. Fighting herds, it's a My Little Pony fighting game. Which had some drama with Evo once upon a time. Oh. Hold on a second. I've been a bad E7 autoer. So let's put it on Rift and forget about it. That's an indie animal fighting game I saw with the Doge on the cover. Oh, Lord. This is likely to be the final cross-examination of these proceedings. As such, I believe it would be ill-advised to stifle the defendant's obvious concerns. It's supposed to be a beginner fighting game, and I did feel like I had a fighting chance a lot of the time, but the community really shrunk after the beta initial launch phase. So then it became all vets who just annihilated you. Oh. Well, Kuroi, if you ever have questions or want to learn a different fighting game, I can help you. I have a lot of experience. So, whilst recognizing that this contravenes regular protocol, I hereby call upon the defendant to speak. Oh, thank you so much, Your Excellency. It was nothing to do with Dr. Wilson. We were discussing the stolen poison.
Hold it!
The stolen poison that killed the victim, you mean? I suspected her of being the one to steal it. I mean, just think about how she killed Dr. Wilson. That's true. Additionally, Miss Brett certainly had knowledge of the new poison. But surely it would be no easy task to steal a highly secret toxin being developed for the government. Indeed, all visitors to the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave. Even if a thief managed to avoid being seen by myself or a colleague, getting the poison out would be very difficult. That's true. I pestered Professor Mikutoba until he agreed to show me the poison when I visited his laboratory. But as I left, I was searched from top to tail. He's such an accomplice. Miss Brett rather bluntly revealed the existence of the toxin we'd been developing, you see. And since Saseki-san expressed such an interest in it, I felt unable to refuse. Obviously, I gave nothing away, other than the fact that it was an extremely potent substance. I'm very ashamed of myself. It's just that I've had a singularly terrible experience with a deadly poison. I wanted to look at my old enemy in the eye! Surely you can understand that! To find out if my suspicions are true, I confronted Miss Brett about the poison. I told her that if there were to be an incident involving it somehow, it wouldn't just be the university. The military would be dragged into it. The whole government, even. It would be a complete disaster. And how did Miss Brett respond to your concerns? She just curled those beautiful lips of hers and said she didn't know the first thing about it. In English, actually. Yes. Many Memo-san, one small question, if you don't mind. Oh, does he not speak English? I do mind. Can't you see I'm busy? Clearly you were outside the beach hut listening in whilst the defendant and Miss Brett were conversing. Presumably then, it was you who wrote this article about what you'd heard. Exclusive, deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. The story was published in the morning's edition of Shoyu News. The details were too accurate for it to have been written by anyone else. Sorry, don't know what you're talking about. Yes, look at this! The entire article is almost what I said to Miss Brett. Word for word. Well, Benny Memo-san? As a journo, and as a citizen of a free country, I don't have to reveal my sources. That's a founding principle of many Memoism. Others clearly right about this. That reporter did write that article, and he based it on what he heard outside the hut. Details of the poison article have been updated. So that's what it was all about. You were trying to cover up the fact that you were listening in. So wait, what got updated here? Even the smallest amount entering the body, enter via the mouth or via wound, poison blade, would be fatal in minutes. Current methods cannot detect it. Okay. That's why you came up with that stinking story about me arguing with her. Shut up! My stories never stink. Look, whatever you say, little girl, it doesn't alter the facts. Your Excellency, there's something I want to say, and I want it to go on record. Very well, you may amend your formal testimony. Point is, if you'd poisoned someone, there'd be no reason to go and stab the person as well.
Hold it!
Perhaps you doubted the efficacy of the poison and sought to make sure your victim would die. That's horse dung! What? That would be like pouring pepper on your Chinese ramen before you'd even tasted it. Completely reckless. Although, it might surprise you to learn that I am a bit of an impetuous pepper pourer as it happens. Once the victim had taken the poison, she would have been only minutes away from death. Yet, this man proceeded to stab her in the back as well. Oh, I think I get it. I think he stabbed her because she was about to say something that would implicate him. There has to be a good reason for that. If it was the reporter who gave the poison to Miss Brett, then clearly he must have done it prior to Ray entering the hut. Yes, that's undeniable. But between him leaving the hut and the victim being stabbed, there was one very crucial change in the situation. Sorry, what change? The reporter overheard the conversation between Ray and the Englishwoman. Ah, yes, that's it. That's when Many Memo-san first found out the exact nature of the poison he'd used. Oh. Wait. Wait. There's a timing aspect to this? So he didn't know that it would take minutes for the poison to work, although I feel like you would probably assume that. If you were trying to kill someone with poison, it's not going to happen immediately, I don't think. Could be key here. If the victim had unwillingly taken the poison already, the reporter would have had no reason to stab her. On the face of it, that logic sounds entirely reasonable. But there's no question that this man was responsible for Miss Brett's murder. You could think of a plausible explanation as to why he might have stabbed her even after the poisoning. I feel sure that everything would drop into place. That's what we should be looking for. Think. We still haven't proven that the pen is used in this. Oh, I forgot that Hosonaga was here earlier. Yes, I agree, and in order to do that, I must try to glean more information. Okay, so we already pressed this, for sure. I know I pressed this, but it led to a different scene. Right, the whole line about putting the belt on your trousers, yep. Okay, when I heard the student girl and that pompous English murder arguing, it got my...
Hold it!
Right. Dr. Wilson.
Objection!
There's no inculpatory evidence to that effect. The prosecution is deliberately leading the court. That's right! And my lawyer will throw you for it if you're not careful. Oh, Ray. Don't throw things like that out there. Tut tut tut! Let the yokel student be aware that her humor is not appreciated in the courtroom. I can't allow the court to be influenced by this reporter's testimony. Ray is the only one who knows what really happened there. I don't have anything that says... Okay, I think I get it. I think we use the poison article against when he says that they were talking about Dr. Wilson. Because there's no way he could have written the article if he didn't hear that from their mouths, and that's not about Dr. Wilson. Right? Is that backwards logic? I feel like that's logical. Alright, let's get it. Let's get him. When I heard the student girl and that pompous English arguing, it got my goat. Okay. So let's present poison article.
Objection!
The witness's statement is definitely contradicted by this piece of evidence. Oh, nope, I'm wrong. What? Okay, maybe it's not this line. And I don't want to object her. Point is, if you'd poison someone, there'd be no reason to then go and stab the person as well. Maybe it's poison article into this, because it proves that it takes minutes.
Objection!
Well, I can think of one reason. Okay, we got it. What? What? But before I explain, I'd like you to confirm something for the court. Did you glean all the information for this newspaper article from what you overheard outside the hut? Of course he did! There can be no question of that! After all, when we were all in the laboratory together, we were all told that it was a terrible toxin. Oh, all we were told. And there is one more important fact to consider. According to the witness, Mbani-san's verbal attack against the victim began as soon as she entered the hut. In other words, it would have been impossible for her to have slipped the poison into Miss Brett's drink.
Objection!
Where are you going with this, counsel? Memo-san has made it quite clear that he observed every single thing that happened in the beach hut. If the defendant had somehow found an opportunity, this man would have seen it. Which means that Miss Brett couldn't have imbibed the poison whilst the defendant was present. In fact, it must have been administered to her before Membami-san entered the hut. Yes, very articulately put. When I walked into the hut, I immediately started to press Miss Brett about the poison. At which point, Memo-san overheard some worrying information. Worrying information? What worrying information? The information which he subsequently included in the newspaper article, namely, that the poison was being developed in strict secrecy and that it wouldn't be readily obtained. Absolutely. In fact, that's quite an understatement. The only possible place it could have come from is my lab. And furthermore, anyone afflicted by the poison would exhibit telltale signs in death. The extreme constriction of the pupils, yes, it's quite stark when you see it. There are other poisons that show similar symptoms, but not among new substances that are undetectable. In other words, it would be clear that the victim's life had been ended by the use of this particular poison, which would reduce the number of suspects to only a handful of people. Everyone in my laboratory is aware of the unique properties of the toxin we've been developing. None of them would be foolish enough to attempt to use it for some nefarious deed. Membami-san being no exception. Therefore, we can conclude that whoever administered this unique poison to the victim was a layperson, unaware of its telltale properties. In other words, someone like you, Raiten Memo. It was you who stole the poison from the laboratory that day. And it was you who administered it to the unwitting victim. But you quickly realized that it was a terrible mistake, because the poison caused such unusual symptoms and was so traceable. As you listened in from the far side of the beach hut's thin walls, you learnt of these facts. But you'd already given the victim the poison at that point. It was too late. So you hatched a plan to disguise your mistake. A plan that involved stabbing the victim in the back through the read screen.
Objection!
But what good could that possibly do? Isn't it obvious, Counsel? The plan was to kill Miss Brett before the poison could take effect. Once in the blood, the poison causes the onset of pupil constriction. But he had hoped to precipitate the victim's death before that happened, hadn't he? Exactly. Because without any revealing signs of the new secret poison's use, no one would ever have suspected. This is extraordinary! Yes, the effects of the poison meant it would be too easily identified, so the killer had to mask its use, which he attempted to do by plunging a knife into the middle of the victim's back. Order, order, order. The argument presented is sound. The court is satisfied that it warrants consideration. Hey, what's up, Yummy Ellie? Welcome back. Does the prosecution have a counter-argument it wishes to put forward? Well, there are a number of... yes, I counter completely.
Objection!
The prosecution's evasive response clearly shows that in much the same way as he nurtures the remnants of his top knot, he is clinging to lost hope. Lost hope? Oh. Pathetic, useless, fallen samurai. Fallen? Who are you calling fallen? My burgeoning growth— I don't need a counter-argument. What? What are you talking about? It should be blatantly obvious. I stole the poison, you say. Gave it to the victim, you say. Stabbed her, you say. Lots of fine theories. But I don't need a counter-argument because you don't have any argument yourself. Where's your evidence? Yes, you make it all sound so plausible, don't you? But without evidence, it means nothing. Whereas I base my news on facts. Facts? What do you mean? Explain yourself. I mean, what the professor said earlier in this trial. It's all here, in my many memos. Every word, every slip of the tongue, all noted. That's what the Show You News is famous for. It's the power of the printed word. But surely it would be no easy task to steal a highly secret toxin being developed for the government. Indeed, all visitors are thoroughly searched when they leave. If the thief managed to avoid being seen by myself or a colleague, getting the poison out would be difficult. The pen. How's that then? Blown the story wide open? See? I, Raiten Many Memo, a mere reporter from the Show You News. Couldn't possibly have stolen the poison from the professor's laboratory. Except we been new. But there can't be any question of it. He must have stolen the poison that day. He stole it and used it to kill. And if that's the case, as you've identified, the poison itself is the definitive evidence we need. Because whoever stole it from the laboratory that day is the true culprit here. What's your point, you annoying handsome country bumpkin? My point is, there is one way that you, Many Memo-san, could have stolen the poison that day. I have heard enough verbal conjecture now, thank you. But the court must be shown as evidence. What proof do you have that this witness stole the poison on the day in question?
Take that!
The proof, Your Excellency, is this fountain pen. A fountain pen? How can that possibly be relevant? These magical pens somehow seem to have enough ink to write many thousands of kanji characters. I believe they arrived in our country for the first time some 15 years ago now. I swear by a weasel hair calligraphy brush and nothing else, these newfangled pens are merely a fad. Well, as a forward-thinking man of words, obviously I love my fountain pen. Suck up a soupçon of sumptuous ink. The one's work is awash with words in the blink of an eye. That's right. Fountain pens have a small reservoir in the barrel, into which ink is sucked up through the nib of the pen in order to write with the latter. What does all this talking of sucking up ink have? Oh! I have no idea what a soupçon is, but I think you pronounced it right. Well, yeah, the C with the little, like, chin hair under that is like an S sound, I think. French. Paging Sionis. Pet store? And just as it's possible to suck up ink into the reservoir... Cortex. It's also possible to eject it through the nib again, of course. Hey, I got through that fight in my own way, even though I used the cheating divine intervention move that I'm only allowed to use once. I will take it. That was definitely the hardest fight of the game for me. My word, can this really be? Well, Many Memo-san? When you saw the deadly poison before your eyes in the laboratory that day, you used your fountain pen, your very lifeblood, to steal some of it, didn't you? By siphoning the poison up through the nib and into the pen's reservoir.
Objection!
More absurdity! That never happened! True, we've heard that there were procedures in place to prevent thieves like this from the laboratory, or thefts like this from the laboratory. But would anyone have thought to look inside a fountain pen of all places? No, I am a little ashamed to say that for fear of offending our guests, such a detailed search would not have been conducted. Well, this is quite startling, I must say. I remind the court that this pen was found in the clutches of the victim when she died. In other words, it was dropped at the scene by many Memo-san. So the crucial question is, when exactly was the pen dropped? Are you suggesting? The natural conclusion is that, in your haste to act whilst the victim was distracted for a moment, you dropped the pen after you emptied the poison into her glass. God.
Objection!
Could there be any number of alternative explanations? For example, the witness could have been using his pen to write down details of his conversation with the victim. And when shocked by one of her outrageous answers, the pen fell from his quivering hand. You going now? Okay, see you in a bit.
Objection!
No, that can't be. If it was, how do you explain why the pen was devoid of ink? What? As you can see for yourself, if you examine the evidence, there would appear to be no ink present in the reservoir. What newspaper reporter goes in to interview someone with nothing in his pen? No, the pen was dropped after the poison that filled its reservoir had been emptied into the victim's glass. Witness, what do you have to say in your defense? Wahaha! So this is how your modern justice system works, is it? So what if the ink in my pen runs dry? So what if my pencil snaps? I can always claw my way back into the game. I have plenty in reserve. Ah! You claim I sucked the poison into my pen? That's wild speculation, nothing more. If you thought you could bring down a fine, upstanding citizen with a trick like that, think again. It looks as though it's going to take one final decisive blow to finish the matter. As I see it, the situation is now very simple. It rests upon whether or not this witness did indeed steal the poison on the day in question. And therefore, it all depends upon whether or not the defense can prove that he did with evidence. No such evidence could possibly exist.
Objection!
Any Memo-san? This is how our modern justice system works. What? In the courtroom, evidence is everything. Something you would do well to remember. Also, guys, we're at 1 more hour until we have to reset the stream. Because we are well past the point of speculation at this stage, I assure you. Very well then, I call upon the defense to present the aforementioned evidence. This is it then. This will be the final piece in the puzzle. The defense can prove by any means of, by means of this item, that it was the witness's pen that was used to steal the poison. Wouldn't it still be the pen? Because it's got this on it. he turned it down. You're digging the music? Yeah, it's fun. Okay. The defense can prove by means of this item that it was the witness's pen that was used to steal the poison. It kind of has to be this, no?
Take that!
Counsel, what is that bottle? This bottle contains the unique chemical reagent that can identify the poison in question. Oh! Yes, that poison is an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids developed by my colleagues and I. It would be impossible to detect traces of it by any other method. Or, from another perspective, simply with this chemical reagent, anybody at all could check for traces of the poison. A reagent? What? One drop of the contents of this bottle on the lips of your fountain pen. On the tip of your fountain pen, Memo-san, is all it will take to solve this case beyond all reasonable doubt. No, you can't! I won't! Your crimes are bad enough, but at least know when to admit defeat. Your Excellency, the defense requests permission to carry out the test on the fountain pen at once. Oh my. This isn't my fault! The Empire... Oh my, it's going fast. Justice, righteousness, many memo was a many memo! Susato, with me! I'm there! Oh my god. I forgot about the Susato takedown. Did I do it right? That was the Susato takedown, wasn't it? Not quite. That was a Ryutaro takedown. They're jointly. We love to see it. We do. The instant the first drop of the reagent touched the nib of the fountain pen, it was clear to everyone present. When I saw it there in the lab, the poison, the devil got a hold of me, and I decided to do it on a whim. I excused myself and emptied all the ink down the sink in the bathroom, washing the reservoir out carefully. And then you waited for an opportunity to suck up some of the poison, didn't you? Into your fountain pen. Yes, that's right. Answer me one thing, Memo-san. Why did you steal it? For what purpose? Isn't it obvious? To find out what it was made of and expose it in an article. I mean, it was a secret project after all. Too juicy for a journo like me to pass up. Then why did the Englishwoman end up dead? I went into that hut intending to quiz her on the situation, that's all. As a reporter. A known killer, enjoying full freedom. Evading justice by leaving the country. I told her what I thought about it. She just laughed in my face. Oh, what's this? A Far Eastern caveman? Purporting to practice journalism? Really, you must learn the difference between reporting and listening at doorways, you ignorant plebeian. What did you call me? This country, with its pretensions to a justice system, to a free press, it's really very depressing. You see, our superior ways in the West, yet you lack the mental capacity to emulate them. Get out of here, you oaf. Get out and crawl back into the cave you came from. I know, Diamond loves her. That's when I remembered about the deadly poison I happened to have in my pen at the time. What a terrible tale. In my head, I knew I should just get out there as quickly as possible, but I couldn't. Couldn't let her get away with that, when she clearly had no remorse at all. I suppose it was my journo spirit, getting all fired up. So how'd he get it into the glass without her realizing? I guess we won't talk about it. I'd like to ask you something. Yes? You often talk about justice. But surely as a journalist, you could have used other means to deliver the justice you sought. Alright, sounds good, Prophet. There's no justice in the press. Sorry? After that trial 9 months ago, I kept digging and digging to find out what happened in that courtroom. Finally, I discovered the truth. It was a cover-up. That's what it was. A cover-up? What do you mean? I would remind you of your position, witness. Be careful what you say. Oh, come on. Doesn't it strike you as strange? We're suddenly not allowed to convict a foreign national? Consular jurisdiction should never have come into it. And yet that puffed-up Englishwoman was going to sail away into the sunset a free woman. The only possible explanation is that behind the scenes, some deal had been going down between Britain and Japan. What sort of deal? I'd done my research, dug up all the dirt. It was all ready to be published. You know what happened? The editor just tore the article up. Came under pressure from the government, you mean? If our government is going to let criminals walk free, if they're going to crush the free press, then what choice do I have but to see that justice is done myself? Let's not forget, Menimemo-san, that you committed murder yourself, and you tried to lay the blame at the defendant's door. I'm sorry, but you're no better than Giselle Brett. What? The truth is, you have no right to talk about justice at all. I suppose... Well, it would appear that we have reached a conclusion in this trial at last. Counsel for Defense, Ryutaru Naruhodo. Oh, yes. Sorry, Your Excellency. Just musing in a manly way here. It's almost unbelievable that this is your first experience of Supreme Court. It was an excellent performance. In truth, it very much reminded me of your cousin's exploits. Oh, Naruhodo-san, Ryunosuke, you mean? The way he handled the trial 9 months ago, and the way you handled this one. It gives me hope that we are genuinely entering a new era of justice in this land. That's very flattering, Your Excellency. Hearing the defense you put forward today made me feel most keenly that the future of our justice system will be forged by you and your contemporaries. Thank you. So, Prosecutor Ouchie, do you have any final thoughts? What is that? Oh, it's the knife. Prosecutor Ouchie? I, Taketsuchi of the Ouchie clan, have been bested by a callow youth not once, but twice. If there was any shred of my former self left, it has withered and died here today. Gosh, your journey to cultural enlightenment sure took a while, didn't it? Silence! He's gonna cut the top knot. Rather than living on in shame, I will end it all now with this blade. For that is the true path of Ouchieism! Ouchieism? One hopes that that's the only way in which he'll be modeling himself after the witness. Sprig of my top knot, the time is right for farewell. Hope is lost forever. Taketsuchi. Dun dun dun. Wow. Oh, Hosanaga's still here. Now, in regard to the defendant, Rei Membami-san. Yes, Your Excellency. I have reached my final verdict. I hereby find you... not guilty. Yeah, but luckily this is anime courts. So we Gucci. Court is adjourned! It's over. My heart is still pounding in my chest, though. It's all I can do to just stay standing. Lawyers have such great responsibility, such a great burden to bear. Don't they, Naruhodo-san? Susato! Susato! Thank you so much. You were so dashing in there. Rei and Father. Honestly, I'm so touched by everything you've... Oh no. I think I'm gonna cry. It wasn't easy, but together we made it. I was on the verge of tears at the end too. The only reason I'm still here is because of you. Oh no. I can't take all the credit. It took courage to tell the truth in there. Yeah, they are definitely Taco Bell breakfast. You did wonderfully, Rei, so I would have to say that the congratulations belong to you. Chisato, don't be so standoffish. Sorry. We're friends, equals, and the trial's over, so no more of this formal, super humility nonsense. It's time to celebrate with swagger. To throw caution to the wind. Caution to the... what? I'm the great defense lawyer, Ryutaro Naruhodo, and I'm taking you out to a milk bar tomorrow. Or something. Milk bar? Right, I see. I'll, think about it, Rei. At any rate, we really knocked the wind out of that horrid man. It felt so good. Yes, it was satisfying. It really was. Isn't there anybody else we could throw together? I hope you're not looking at me, Rei. Coffee milk? Yeah, I would hope so. Milk bar sounds disgusting. Oh my goodness! No, of course not! Of course not! There it is at last. Rei's lovely smile. You fought for your friend to the very last. As your father, I'm extremely proud of you. Defense Attorney Ryutaro Naruhodo. Thank you, but I couldn't have done it without your help. Anyway, it's time to bid farewell to Ryutaro, I think. I shall miss him in a way, but it's back to Susato Mikutoba now. So, I'll never see him again then. What a terrible shame. What is happening? Soseki-san and Inspector Hosonaga, I do hope you've been keeping well. Is that really you? Yes, I had to change my appearance for, well, obvious reasons, I hope. But it's me, Susato Mikutoba. I don't... So dashing, so divine. No! Doubly dashing, yes, and devilishly divine, just look at you! I had no idea, Miss Susato-san Esquires, that you were Locum student Naruhodo-san's Esquire's cousin! Astoundingly Ace Attorney. I do not like. I hope Saseki goes away forever. Poor Saseki-san, so confused. The devs asked the descending family if they could do this. That's hilarious. I still remember the first time I ever met him. He was in a prison cell in London. What an extraordinary conundrum it was that the unwitting student from Japan found himself embroiled in. But after Naruhodo-san's skillful defense at the Old Bailey, Saseki-san was free to return to Japan. That was a trial with a really confused old man. Girl, this day will not end. I'm sorry, Quinn. Quinn, did you hear? We're extended up to 52 hours now. So we'll be streaming for more today. I have to reset stream in less than an hour, though, because Twitch is going to kick us off. And now he seems to have earned himself great fame as an author. I'm stunned. That's truly an impressive disguise. What's the next threshold? Good question. I think we get one more hour, for the next sub. Might as well do it right when you finish this up. No, I kind of want it to run up, to the exact 48-hour mark. I'm stunned. That's a truly impressive disguise. Even I had no idea, and I'm Chief Inspector at the Police Bureau. Who came up with Mr. Turtle, no less? That was a Kev. Just looking at you. I'm not sure you should be admitting to that, Inspector. Amazing. You're a woman of many faces, I see. Just two, really. And this was a once-in-a-lifetime event, I hope. Oh, I'm not a patch on you, though, Inspector. Well, I am a professional, of course. I do worry about Inspector Hosonaga sometimes, I really do. 9 months ago, when he appeared here at the Supreme Court to testify, he was undercover, disguised as the head waiter of a restaurant. And then on the steamship to Great Britain, of course, disguised as a sailor to keep us safe on the journey. Though that didn't help you, did it, Kazuma-sama? From my perspective, I have to admit that I have mixed feelings about all this. I mean, now the truth has been lost forever. What do you mean? Oh, you got her something wrong?
Oh, I got a brand. It looked familiar, but I thought it was different. I got stuff, and the other one was for furballs.
She is literally sitting there like, where are my treats?
Yeah.
Oh,
the treat I gave her,
I'm talking about the murder that the Englishwoman committed at the end of last year. Ah, yes! It was an English doctor she killed, as I understand it. Dr. John H. Wilson, yes. The man I invited to Japan personally.
why do you like to bring this?
The mystery is, why did she kill him? And now that the culprit herself is dead, we'll probably never know the answer. On the voyage to Great Britain, we had a most unexpected encounter with Mr. Herlock Sholmes. The great detective, I mean. Yes, I remember Mr. Sholmes well, of course. Ah, my arch nemesis. How lightly you utter his name. Well, according to the stories published about him in The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, the detective once had a partner who helped him solve crimes, a best friend. And that man was an exceptional doctor of medicine by the name of John H. Wilson. What? Dr. Wilson? I just can't believe that it's a coincidence. I think that the English doctor of medicine killed here in Japan 9 months ago must have been the friend and partner of Mr. Sholmes. That's really true. Then the poor girl won't ever see her beloved father again. As you know, I traveled to Great Britain once myself to study. It was around the time you were born. Yes, grandmother told me about it. On returning to Japan, I took up my professorship at the Imperial Yume University. But I also serve another role as an advisor to the government on diplomatic affairs. Yes, I was aware of that as well. In that case, I'm sure you understand that there are some confidential matters I cannot divulge to you. Could you just tell me one thing? Why did you summon me back to Japan? It's been 2 months now since I returned. When I left England, it was because an urgent telegram had arrived from Japan. It said that you'd collapsed with a high fever, and you were growing weaker by the day. What? Where did that news come from? Oh? That's what I'd like to know. Because after that long sea voyage, I found you in fine health, Father. Was there something in Great Britain that you perceived might inconvenience me in some way, or harm me? That's really the only explanation I can think of. Dear me, do you reserve your most cutting glares for your father, Susato? I'm sorry, my dear, I simply can't... Let me go! Uh-oh. Ah! 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 Benny Memo-san! So, one throw wasn't enough for you. Got one last thing to say before they take me away, Professor. Me? I know the truth. I know you had a hand in what went on. In that visiting student's fate. Visiting students? Giselle Brent, you mean? No, not her! The student of law who left for Great Britain 8 months ago. Oh, Kazuma. What? Student of law? You must mean Kazuma-sama. What are you talking about? What does any of this have to do with Kazuma-sama? Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know that the guy never made it to England. That he died on that steamship. And that he'll never... Ah! Oh my. Well, I didn't expect to find him in here. What were you officers playing at? Terribly sorry, Your Excellency. I was coming to tell you that the rickshaw has arrived, Eugene. And it's a good job I came by. Yes, thank you for dealing with him. And I'll be there shortly. Oh, Your Excellency. Ha ha ha. Trial's over. I'm not Your Excellency anymore. Merely your father's friend, Seishiro Jigoku. And may I say that since I last saw you, you seem to have taken a more dashing appearance, Susato. Did you know all along? Started the trial? Ha ha ha! A judge sees everything. Also, your friend called you Susato multiple times. Couldn't let you take the risk if Seishiro hadn't known and then recognized you, so I had a word in his ear beforehand as an old friend. So, Seishiro, shall we? Yes. Having ruled on that case, we now have various diplomatic issues to address. Before you go, Father... Sorry, my dear. We shall have to return to our earlier conversation at a later date. Perhaps when I'm dead. But, well done again, both of you. You did admirably. Oh, thank you very much. What did you think of my Seishiro sling, eh? It's been a while since I sent a man flying like that. Ha 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 ha! Never could father be hiding from me. About Giselle Brett, about Dr. Wilson, and now, it seems, according to the reporter, about Kazuma-sama. I'm going to have to bring this up with father sometime, when nobody else is around. Judicial Assistant Mikotoba-san, Esquires, could I have a word? Dammy? Oh, yes, of course, Saseki-san, what is it? I think perhaps it could be fate that we're meeting again like this now. You see? There's something I need to tell you. Oh? I believe that it may be related to the reason why your father summoned you back from England. This I have to hear. Please, Saseki-san, tell me at once. I will! As you know, my time in England was terrible. Cursed, I have no doubt. Such awful things I was embroiled in. Thank goodness, welcome student Naruhodo-san Esquire stepped in. Hey, Dots. Yes, I was just thinking about you. I'm like, oh, Dots might, I hope he doesn't miss our whole segment. We just got to the end of the trial, and it's, interesting. After he secured my freedom, I couldn't wait to get on a ship back here to my homeland. Having arrived in Japan, I submitted a report about my experiences to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The next thing I knew, I had a visitor. It was your father, Professor Mikotoba. Your sleep schedule's a wreck. Oh no. Yeah, I got a lot of sleep last night, which was great. For the subathon, we are up to 52 hours target. And we have to reset the stream in 32 minutes. My father seemed to be especially taken with a particular part of the report. Anyway, he left eventually, having thoroughly quizzed me. But it was the very next day that he sent the telegram to you asking you to return to Japan. What was it then? The particular part my father was interested in. I don't really know exactly. But do you remember them? There's 2 terrible cases I was caught up in? 2? Of course, I could never forget. Your father seemed to concern himself mainly with the second case. Wait. He was in 2 cases? I thought he was only in 1. The second one? You mean... the one Mr. Sholmes forbade any of us to talk about in public? Which is why the only case involving you... Oh. Which is why the only case involving you that any member of the public is aware of is the first. Well, I don't care. I don't have to listen to what that dastardly detective says. Anyway, the point is, it seems that the case somehow holds the key to all these curious unanswered questions. That horrific, hideous, heinous crime. The case of the haunted lodgings. That case somehow caused my father to summon me urgently back to Japan. I thought that whole business was over, but it seems I was wrong. Perhaps that was only the start. Perhaps the story is not yet told.
So, the mystery of that English woman's death is solved, thank goodness. And having stood in the Supreme Court now, I think I can comprehend a little better. How you must be feeling as you fight for people's freedom in a foreign land, Naruhodo-san. But actually, I'm writing to you today because of another matter. I met Sosik-san and we talked about that second case he was involved in. Father has said nothing to me, but I feel certain of it. That case holds the key to some great unsolved mystery. My notes on the case should still be in the office, tucked away at the back of the shelves on the left. Perhaps you might like to look over them again. Today, for the first time this year, it feels as though summer has arrived. The sky is a brilliant blue. It makes me long to see you again. Yours, Susato.
Damn, that's kind of intimate. Yours? What did we think of the ending of the trial? Yeah, it was interesting. We were kind of just waiting for them to talk about the pen and implicate Many Memo, but it was good. Writing many memos. His first name wasn't writing, was it? It was like Ray-Tay? Writing many memos. Oh my god. I should have known that they would do this. Yeah, he wasn't trying to clear himself, which was kind of my problem with it. He's like, yeah, I stabbed her, but it was the poison. It's like, well, you would have said that earlier in the trial if that was true. Like, it has to be that you poisoned and stabbed her, not that you only did one or the other. And you would never admit to poisoning because they were saying that's the cause of death. Anyway. The clouded Kokoro. That's cool that it breaks it up. So there's 5 chapters. That was the whole first one. Alright. Guys, I'm gonna take a break to shower. Because I need it. But good, solid start to the stream. I'm gonna shower and get back here probably in time to reset the stream, and then we'll do something. I don't really know what. I need to think about it. So, I will see you guys in probably about 25 minutes.
This is over. Bye.
Bye! Bye-bye! Wrong. I'm gonna do it!
Hi guys, briefly back. Twitch is gonna kick us out in 1 minute, less than 1 minute. Yeah. Sorry, I just sat down back at my desk. I ran out after I got out of the shower. and I was like, how much time do we have? And I saw the 5 minutes, and Ifrit spamming pie. I'm like, no. We got 5 minutes. We're Gucci. 30 seconds now.
Bye bye now.
Okay, so we do that. Alright, it's gonna kick us out in 7, 6, 5, 4,